I'm glad to see everybody on this call tonight. We are going to really dive into a topic that a lot of you guys have been struggling with. And not even just struggling, I want to say, I just want to strengthen, right? I know a lot of you guys want to strengthen, like being able to find builders, building relationships with them. So we're going to talk about that today and have a little surprise. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see. All right, so obviously we're going to do a two-part series. So this week we'll be talking about, and you'll see, but mainly the whole entire two-part series on how to master building relationships with home builders. All right, so I like to dive into part one, which is the foundation of building relationships. And I'm not even gonna like say it as far as like not being able to build regular friendships, right? But I think when it comes to building professional business relationships, it's a completely different ballgame and being able to master that. So let's talk about the foundation of that. So just let's be vulnerable because it's just us, the Land Squad, right? Let's talk about what challenges you guys are facing right now when trying to connect with home builders. What are some of the challenges that you're facing? And I'll give you guys a second to put it in the chat, preferably. Let me know what you are struggling with right now. Let's see the feedback. So someone said getting responses from email. Anybody else? Just responding, not getting responses, not producing consistent properties, okay? Getting them to answer the phone, they won't give a price. Finding mom and pop builders, the buy box, they're too vague, okay? So for the most part, everyone's kind of on the same page, right? Not getting a response, not getting specific criteria, and them just not giving you a price, right? All right, so let's dive into more of that. And some of the stuff you guys have heard before, but I'm going to kind of reiterate it in a different way to maybe hopefully this kind of sticks to you a little bit differently. But you guys have to remember that the end buyer is the end all be all, right? I know it sounds insane to say that, but the end buyer is what pays you. It's not about the deal that you have. It's not a matter of like how sweet the deal sounds. Oh, I got 10 acres, or I got these 2 lots. Like, it's not about that. It's valueless if there's no end buyer, right? That's going to be the biggest things you guys have to remember. It's not about the deals. It's about the end buyer and really trying to find the best paying buyers. The ones with the highest paying buyers wins. That's literally all that is. You have the highest paying buyer, the best terms, you're going to win this game of closing deals consistently. And then the second part of this is focusing on markets where the need is great. I say this all the time. A lot of you guys right now are probably in markets you have no business being in, right? It's really, really important to focus on the markets where everybody is needing your services, okay? I love to tell you guys to jump right into Florida. Florida is honestly the best market to be in to at least close your first couple deals. I know a lot of you guys probably want to start in other states and other areas and markets. That's fine and all. But if you want to just get the ball rolling and make some quick money, close a couple deals and just get your money back from this mentorship or get your money back from investing in this business, focus on Florida and the top markets. Like you guys already know this. There's a lot of markets in the group that I've given you guys I want to say 2 weeks ago of all the different markets. Y'all need to be there. Okay. Nowhere else to start off with, at least to get your first couple deals. Let's talk about the land acquisition specialist, because I think this is the most important part of building your business is by connecting and building the best relationship possible with that land acquisition specialist. And just knowing what their mindset is as having that job as a land acquisition specialist. So in the chat, I want you guys to write out 3 different qualities that you would look for. If you were a land acquisition specialist, what would you look for in a wholesaler that's working with you? What 3 qualities would you look for if you were a land acquisition specialist working with a wholesaler? Like what qualities do you want in that wholesaler? So not the price or anything like that. Like what qualities does that wholesaler need to have? Okay, let's keep going. So we have professionalism, bringing great deals, attention to detail, consistency, quick and great communication, keeps their word and brings you land consistently. Okay, great deals, great communication, execution, consistent deals, good communicator, knowledgeable and professional. Now, you guys just named all of that. Are y'all that? Like, let's be clear. Are you guys all of these things that's listed here? If your answer is no, then that's what you need to develop. You need to develop all these skills. You need to be a better communicator. You need to respond more professionally. You need to bring deals. You need to be more knowledgeable. You need to be consistent. You need to keep your word. You need to be professional. Are you keeping attentive to detail? Are you doing all these things? If you're not doing these things, understand that this is why you're not getting builders. 120%. Okay. So I want you guys to kind of look at this list here and just kind of start thinking about it. I will give you the 3 that I think of, right? Number 1 is I want to be consistent. When my builder sends me, hey, I'm buying lots in Palm Coast, bet I'm consistently bringing you deals. I don't care if the deal don't make sense anymore. I'm bringing you so many deals, you're just like, this bitch is not stopping, right? I just want them to see that I'm not playing. Number 2 is attention to detail. Y'all got to pay attention. All these non-check boxes in contracts, forgetting to sign certain things, not sending in the packet on time for the assignment of contract, that is a big deal breaker. They're not going to take you seriously. They're going to know, oh, when I do business with Derby, she's going to send me my contracts. She's going to send me the underlying. She's going to get everything I need. I don't have to worry about nothing. And pays attention to detail. I don't have to say, dang, Derby, you forgot to say that I'm not covering all the closing costs. You forgot to say that we take 30 days to do our due diligence. You guys gotta pay attention. I'm telling you, it's going to help you grow in this business if you pay attention to detail. I have a builder right now, and a lot of you guys probably know, he's a jerk. He does not play. If you send him an assignment of contract out of order, like he likes his things in a certain way. He wants his assignment of contract blended in with the underlying contract and then a seller info sheet all in one packet. If you switch it out of order, guess what? Your deal is, he's going to block your IP address. Literally block you. And he's one of the top paying builders in the state of Florida. And I'm not joking, he does not play because he doesn't have time for nobody to waste his time because he's doing this all on his own for the entire state. So when I tell you, and this man I've made over 6, 7 figures with in my first year of wholesaling, yeah, Gigi knows. He sure don't play. Okay, so when I tell you he does not play, and a lot of these builders don't play, you gotta pay attention to detail because they will block you. And then last but not least is providing value. There's many ways to provide value. It's not just, bringing them deals and being consistent and paying attention to detail. You're providing value by, just letting them know, hey, there's some other markets that are out here, or hey, is there any other areas that you're looking into? Hey, is there anything I can do to help be of service to you besides finding you land? You gotta provide value. Big, big, big one. And then also just kind of building that people relationship, right? It's really important to you can kind of swindle your way into being more of a friend to these builders once you start showing that you provide value and you're attentive to detail and you're consistent. I don't know how many times like my builder has, we're talking about deals. I'm like, hey, have a happy holiday. What, you got any plans for the weekend? Yeah, Derby, I'm doing this. I'm going out here and oh, that's cool. I've been out there too. You should check out this. Now we're more on a friendship basis, right? This is what I want y'all to start thinking in. Learn people. Learn interactives with people. That's going to be your biggest thing. That's how I've gotten a lot of my deals is from literally people pleasing to a certain extent. Play the game, 100%. Now, I have a surprise for you guys. You want to guess what it is? Do you know what it is? Let's see. All right, I'll tell you guys. So I have a surprise. I told you guys all these things. I don't want you to just take it from me, but we're going to actually take it from a real land acquisition specialist who works for Lennar Homes. Are you guys ready? I would never bring my hedge fund builder on here. He would be like, absolutely not. He doesn't like crowds or anything like that. But I have a land acquisition specialist on this call right now. Okay. And he works for Lennar Homes. I'm going to bring him on. His name is JR. He's actually a really good friend of mine. JR, can you unmute yourself? And then I'm going to pin you to the top here. There you are.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Joe,
Oh,
Having me on.
yes, we had to have you on, JR. As soon as I heard you're a land acquisition specialist and you're doing your thing, I was like, oh no, we gotta get JR on here. How many of you guys know JR? Put a one in the chat. You guys probably have seen him here and there.
Yeah, I
Um,
see some people. What's up, Francisco? And I've
what's
had to send me some deals. And
going on, Joe?
hey, what's going on? Jameson sent me some deals. So
Nice. All right. So we got a land acquisition specialist in the building. Okay. In the flesh. This is somebody that you guys want to connect with. Okay. Let's talk about JR and who he is. And then JR, I'm going to have you take the floor. We're going to ask you some questions, but meet JR. He is a real estate agent. He's based out of Jacksonville. He's wholesaled land for several years, y'all. I've known JR for quite some time now. He's doing a lot. So he's not only done 6 or 7 figures in land, but he's also dabbled into lending at one point. Fun fact, JR and I actually spoke on the same stage at my annual wholesaling land events that I used to do back in the day. I don't do them no more like that, but you could see JR in the corner on the left picture and the corner on the right picture. Um, but that was some time ago. It was like 2021.
yeah,
And
for
now
real.
you're doing land acquisitions for Lennar. I love that.
For KB Home, so Nars.
Oh, KB. Why do you think it was Lennar?
Yeah, they're big here too.
They're like very much the same. I'm gonna change it
Yeah,
up, but
super
KB
similar.
Homes. My bad.
All good.
All right, so let's you want to just kind of dabble more into like who you are. I know I kind of did a little
Yeah.
brief, but
Yeah. No, glad to be here. So I started real estate investing in 2018, and then started my own company in 2019, and I did from 2019 to 2022 I did over 200 wholesale deals. Probably like 75-80% of those was vacant land, and the rest were houses. And then I also had my real estate license for a year right before COVID. And then took some time off and then got back into it, joined KB Home, who's a national home builder and developer, as a land acquisition manager. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And I've done a couple fix and flips too, and dabbled into lending. So that's kind of everything that I've done so far. And really joining on KB, I just wanted to like learn more about the development side of things, like wholesaling can get very repetitive. It's once you have it down and your systems in place, and you're just on go mode, and you're selling paper, you're flipping the contract. And I wanted to learn more about like what happens on the development side, just to like further my real estate education. There's just what I've learned so far is there's just a lot of moving parts and things that you don't think about when you're a wholesaler. So that's kind of what I'm going to share with you guys today. And hopefully you guys can learn from some of my mistakes also. That way we can save you guys from making those same mistakes and kind of moving forward past those. So
yes, I love that. Thank you so much, JR, for even coming on here. I know your time is
of course.
valuable. Okay, let's ask some questions. I do have a few myself that I wanted to ask, just to get some idea of like what can help the students out. But if you can just kind of explain what are some qualities that you look for when working with other wholesalers?
So with wholesalers, a lot of times they will reach out to people in my office and it's not me, right? They'll find someone on LinkedIn, or someone in a different position at KB, or they'll just call the, the general office line or whatever, and things, kind of get a little bit mixed up. So that's step one. Number one is, getting to the right person. I guess you could find them on LinkedIn, kind of says what they do, or their website, or through like networking or whatnot. But it's really important that you find someone whose title is, land acquisition manager, director of land acquisition, the vice president of land acquisition. You want to make sure you're reaching out to the right person when you hit up these companies, because otherwise your emails will just get overlooked. They'll just get, you know, kind of brushed to the bottom. So that's number one. But as far as qualities, you guys really did say them in the chat, and Derby mentioned them as well. But I think the biggest thing is knowledge, right? We want to work with somebody who knows what's going on and who has an idea of how everything works. And you might be new, but hey, fake it till you make it. You're going to learn as you go. You guys have Derby as your mentor and this community to go to. But that's really important, like knowing the market, knowing, what type of deal that you have, and if it's a deal, if it's not a deal. And just as much knowledge as you can. Like that's really sets apart people when they reach out to me. When someone just sends me a link with the property appraiser and they're like, "Here's a deal," I'm like, "You have no idea like what you're talking about." So, the way you present that, and I know you guys have templates that she probably shows you what to send and things like that. Um, and then secondly, I mean, real estate is it's a personable business, right? So I know a lot of you guys are in multiple markets or in markets that you don't live in. But if there's any way that if you are doing it local or any way that you can separate yourself, that really stands out to me, right? Because we get probably, I don't know, five or so random wholesale emails asking for our criteria like every week. And if someone was to be like, and I know there's a lot of emails that you get like this, but hey, can we meet for coffee so I can introduce myself face to face and we could talk a little more. Can I come by your office or can we meet at this? Are you out looking at land? Is there any way I can meet you? Or do a Zoom call, something where you can separate yourself. That would really stand out to me. And I'd be like, okay, this wholesaler is actually very serious. So those are some of the main things I look for, like knowledge, knowing your stuff. And then the ones that you guys said, consistent, just resilient, like won't quit, bunch of deal flow. The deals get better as you send them. You might send a couple deals and I'll tell you, hey, this is what's wrong with it. This is what's wrong with it. And then the next deals that you bring, you say, hey, those problems have been solved. This deal is going to be much better. So the deals get better as they go. And then also, just like anything, you want to be transparent, you want to be upfront. People can smell, when you're lying. They can smell when you kind of don't know what the hell you're talking about. So, just be transparent, honest, and truthful. I think that goes a long way.
JR, the gems, baby. Because what? I never thought about like, hey, are you like okay with me coming out to one of your lots that you're gonna look at? Or hey, can we meet up for coffee? Or hey, can I? That is a gem. Can we get on a Zoom call? That is a gem. Y'all
Yes.
pay attention to that. That is major. And I'm definitely gonna take some of that away because I didn't even think about that. I have another question for you. What
Yes.
does how do home builders view wholesalers? Do they be talking shit for real? Like I be thinking, I
All right.
swear.
So great question. And I didn't know this until I got this position here with KB. Obviously, kind of be on the inside, be on the other side. But I guess the way to answer this is I want you guys to grasp the concept that there's a difference between a national home builder and developer and like a local home builder, right? So when you're talking about like KB and Dream Finders, DR Horton, Lennar, Century, companies like that, they are national companies, national brands. There's a hierarchy, a chain of command, right? And they're there on their salary. They have people whose job, like me, is to find land. We're there 5 days a week, all day long looking for land. We have access to MLS, we have access to Crexy, we have access to LoopNet, right? So when wholesalers bring those deals, that 99%, when a wholesaler brings an on-market deal, we've already seen it. Someone in my office has already seen it. There's people who've been there for 10 years. They're like, yeah, we've had that deal. We dropped that deal. We had that, whatever. So yes, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Wholesalers get seen as kind of bottom of the barrel, don't know what they're doing, don't know what they're talking about. Um, bottom, I've been called a bottom feeder from builders, or like, oh, you're just bottom feeder, stuff like that. Now, do we let that get in our heads and stop us? Absolutely not. I'm just being real with you guys. Until you prove yourself with these qualities that we just talked about, wholesalers are seen as they have no skin in the game, and they're just out there getting what they can. And there's also people like me, right, who used to be wholesalers who are in those positions. That's going to be to your benefit, because if you get somebody who understands wholesaling or started out wholesaling, they're going to be way more friendly. They're going to be way more open to working with you. But as you go on, as you prove yourself, the more deals that you send, and then of course actually tying up a deal under contract, coming through, executing, doing what you said, giving them your word, and then following through on that, deadlines, everything like that. Once those things start, once you do a deal, basically get something under contract, then they're like, okay, this person is legit. When we get a deal from them, we're going to take this very seriously. And also, like, if I send someone my criteria and then they send me more deals um that don't work after I told them like what I was looking for, I would probably that's a lot of times you see people not get responded to, their emails don't get responded to, or whatnot, because that's kind of how these builders think. They're like, they have the people in house, and they have their brokers that we go to, right? Brokers are highly regarded in these builders, but that's kind of how they view wholesalers. So it's our job to show them that we're for real, that we're legit, that we have, we're really doing this, and we can provide something to them, an off-market deal that they would not have known about, and we can put the buyer and the seller together, and we deserve to get paid for that. And so once you do that, then you earn the respect.
Yep, yep. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that either. Hold on, I'm trying to get my screen up in here. 1 second. My screen just stopped sharing. Okay, you guys can see. Well, that's a really good point, because I didn't think about that, and it's good to know that, wholesalers are somewhat bottom of the barrel, but if they come up and prove themselves worthy, then they have a shot in working with a builder, especially a huge builder like national home builders like DR Horton, KB, Lennar, all that. So those are all good tips and tricks to think about. We kind of touched on this, but if there's anything else you can think of that can help us, there are a lot of people, like I said, struggling with this department. So are there any deal breakers that you can't tolerate when working with a wholesaler? Like, oh, I just hate when they do that. Like, this is something I'm just going to throw out this email. I'm not going to even respond.
I mean, just essentially just sending other people's deals that you have no skin in the game, like you're not on the contract or you're not a partner with that person. You're just, throwing deals, throwing stuff and seeing what sticks, and then trying to JV afterwards. I think the most aggravating thing that happens a lot, especially even to me, to JV with people, is they'll send me a deal that they say is under contract. I look at it, I got a buyer or I got partners, and I'm like, let's do it. And they're like, okay, I'll get back to you. I gotta get this locked
Yeah.
up. That is the number one like red flag of like, dude, you sent me something, I was ready to buy it, and like you didn't have it. So that's where it comes into play with you guys' strategy, Derby, is, we used to call reverse wholesaling, right? Knowing what they're looking for, knowing what they want, um, and potentially what would work. Yeah, daisy chains, right? So that's definitely a red flag that I can't stand, because like I said, we have access to all the on market stuff. There's nothing you're really gonna show us that we haven't seen or come across yet. So that's probably the biggest like red flag, deal breaker.
Yeah, that's a major one. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about. They think it's like wholesaling houses and you can just throw it around, and it's not like that with land.
Mhm.
Um, and I think too, it's like you lose your credibility when you do that, right? You lose your
Mhm.
credibility. People are not going to take you serious. And then also, this is why I say, yes, get the buyer's criteria first. But if you have a lot that may or may not fit their criteria, make sure you at least have talked to the owner and have some type of verbal agreement and then lock it up. Because you want to have something right there for that builder. That's
Yeah.
just a big thing. And there's certain builders that I won't even do that with because they'll get that upset with me if I were not to have that deal, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's going to be a major thing, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Next question, which I'm really not even trying to be funny when I ask this next question because it's really a thing that happens all the time. But why do you guys always say just send me what y'all have? Because I don't have it. What's going on?
So yeah, no, I mean, the reason why land acquisition people will say just send me what you have is because literally every deal is different. Every deal, there's something different about it. So this comes into play with market by market, right? So for example, where I live, Jacksonville is Duval County. And the way that Duval County was made was like a free for all. Like every lot is a different size, it's a different shape. Every, um, lot is very different. And there's just so many variables. So it's hard for us to even give out as far as price criteria, like this is what we're paying per acre. Because two different properties that are a mile away or across the street from each other could very well have different prices for a numerous amount of reasons. So that's why they say just send me what you got, and just it's just them being land people, right? They want to look at every deal. They want to see every deal that's out there and know what's going on, in their market and what's available, what sellers are, it's just send me what you got. Um, and I used to hate that answer as well. I'd be at these networking things and I would ask the criteria questions and, oh yeah, just send me everything. And it's annoying. Like, I'm not going to lie, but we have to just, live in reality of what's going on. And that's where it comes up to your part to, yeah, you're marketing and you're finding vacant lots. Okay, great. This is land with no house on it. Let me, find buyers. But if this is something you guys are going to do for real, if this you want this to be your main business, if this is going to be the sole um income that you have for you and your family, you have to take this very serious. Just like you would in college or school, you would do research, right? You can do as much possible research. The builder might say, "Hey, just send me anything," but that doesn't mean that you can't go to their website, see what their business model is, right? Are they building to sell, right? Are they building to rent? Are they doing single family detached only? Do they have a townhome product that could go on under multifamily? Do they what different size lots that they're building? And then you can go to the property appraiser, type in their name and see what zip codes they're in. Boom. So it's like these are things that you would hope they would just email you back and tell you, but sometimes they don't. So you got to take accountability into your own hands and go, I'm gonna go exactly, James. I'm gonna go study this market, study the buyer, and so when I bring them stuff, it's kind of like, hey, you guys have done something similar to this before in this same area. This could be a replacement site for this neighborhood that you guys just finished selling, is completely occupied. Um, and then, like I said, do research on the land that you have too, right? Like, um, if you send a bunch of stuff to me that's landlocked, red flag, you don't understand what landlocked means, which means there's no access point, there's no road that goes there, there's no right of way, there's no easement. So you're sending me landlocked stuff. Why would I want to buy that, right? Unless you have a solution to give me access. You're sending me something that I can't even work with because it's landlocked or has a bunch of wetlands, right? And the other kind of thing I've learned from this is being on this side is that you throw enough money at something, you can solve anything, right? So I understand it's like you're a billion-dollar company, you figure out the wetlands, but the reality of it is if a site is completely wet, you can't impact those wetlands. It's going to cost millions and millions of dollars. It kills the deal. Or if it's in a flood zone, then you have to deal with as far as Florida, the 404 permit, which basically has to do with the Army Corps, which They have Department of Environmental Protections and all this stuff. Like you can't build on that. So like understand what kind of land you have. Go when you go on the GIS map or when you go on the software that you guys have, when you go on the property appraiser map, there's a layers button. Click on the layers and click on wetlands. It's going to show you if your site is wet or not, or it'll show you how much is wet. And so what builders care about is the upland acreage, the buildable acres. So you could have a 30-acre site, but if it's only got 3 acres of uplands and the rest is wetlands, then you're sending me a 3-acre site that I can build on. Right. And so that's super important. Like, yeah, flood zone, these are things that you can learn on your own without even ever talking to the builder, right? Like that's any builder is going to want those things. And then I think it's like I was saying earlier, the difference between national home builders and local smaller builders, right, is and if they're a builder developer, because sometimes they're willing to do the zoning change. Like you could send me something that's commercial or industrial, or is not zoned for residential, because we would be willing to do a zone change. And then also look up the land use. So these are on the layers, right? Everyone's different, but they have layers that you can click on. You want to know the land use and the zoning, because that's going to tell what can be built there, or if you need a land use amendment. And these are called entitlements for anyone that doesn't know. So a builder is going to want to get things entitled before they close. Why? Let's say you send me a piece of land and you want me to buy it for X amount. I don't want to put that money up, close on it, and then the city or the county, whatever the jurisdiction is, goes, oh, actually this is a commercial intensive. We really want this to be commercial. You can't build a house here. Now I just bought something from you that I can't even build. I'm a home builder. So those are things that you just want to be thinking about before you send out the deals, and kind of understand, learn, research as much as you can, because those are things that the builder is thinking about.
Yeah. So it seems to me as if you're saying really educate yourself on that market, learn the home builder as much as you can, and also just educate yourself on land and being able to underwrite and analyze deals from a builder's perspective. So that way, when it comes time to present them deals, they're nice, crispy, clean deals, and they're not something that's been daisy chained, something that doesn't have wetlands, something that's just not a mess. You want to be able to present quality deals to these builders, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, the other thing too, like for people who say, just send me the deals or whatever, and they don't want to, you can look up their history, right? If you have an agent who can get, well, it wouldn't even be on MLS. You go to find one of their neighborhoods and then look, it has the deed records on there. You can see what they paid for it, right? Then you can go and look what type of product. Okay, they built single family homes here. This is what they paid, and this was the size of the land. Or look, they built 10 homes right here, and this is what they paid. Boom. Now this is what they're paying per lot, per home. So it's like you can kind of go find a lot of those answers on your own. It's annoying that they won't give them to you. Like I understand, because I've been doing exactly what you guys do as well. So it's annoying, but you can kind of find out a lot of this stuff on your own. You can do your own research and figure out an idea about, what they're paying in certain areas, just by, doing research.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest tips I would say to you guys is if you're going to be in a specific market, I love to go to Zillow, and I like to see all the spec home new construction builders, all of the 2024 recent new builds, and and look up who those builders are. And then that way, they build spec homes, it's in this specific market. Then you can even backtrack to see what they paid for them in the last 90 days. Those are the most freshest prices. And then you can go from there. Sometimes you don't even need to reach out to these builders. You can specifically just do that little digging and research and then go from there. And then that way, once you actually have what you need, you can start farming those deals, getting things locked up, and just presenting it to them, because there's plenty of options out here. As long as you're below that market value price, as long as you're under what those builders are paying, you should be able to disposition it with no issue. So yeah, I'm really happy that you came on, JR, to even bring up these points. I do want to continue with the presentation, and if you want to tag along and let us know if there's anything else to help us out here, that would be really appreciated. I'm going to keep going. I know you guys have questions, but let's finish off. We're almost done here. So let's talk about some do's and don'ts when working with builders. Number one, definitely a do is be original. Okay. I'm sure JR, who's been doing land acquisitions for a while now, has seen the same emails, very similar, coming in with the same layouts, right? It's important to be different and setting yourself apart in those emails, like he mentioned before. So some don'ts is don't sound like everybody else. Okay, that's gonna be another huge one. So anybody wants to share, and you don't have to all do it, but if you guys want to put some of your builder scripts in the chat and we can compare some of them, you guys should have that on site. Like if someone's like, hey, send me your builder script, I have that. That's already in a template ready to go. And it's not the one in the group. I switch it all out, right? I switch it out periodically. But if you guys want to drop your builder script in the chat and we can pull it apart, especially my people who are struggling right now to find builders to get responses from, put it in the chat. Let's pull it apart. Let's see what JR can, can JR tell you exactly this is why they're not responding? Because you said this statement right here, right? This is the chance for you to be able to ask these questions while he's on the call. He dropped his email and his Instagram. Make sure you guys follow him and stuff. I'll give you guys a second. Like I said, you should have this ready, especially if you've been reaching out to builders. Go into your sent emails, copy and paste it. And we'll give you guys a few seconds here. And in the meantime, actually, let's go on to our next do and don't, and then we'll go back. Is you definitely want to follow up consistently if you're not getting criteria. But now that I'm doing this slide, I'm thinking maybe we should do our research. You ain't got no responses? Do your research. Do some market research on these builders. And then if they don't reach out, don't bombard them either, because you don't want to overwhelm them. They're going to not respond. They're really going to block you. Brian put his in the chat. He said, good morning, Robbie. My name is Brian. I own Equinox Capital Group. I see you're buying new homes in Cape Coral. Could you please share your cities that you're interested in buying along with your target purchase price? I'd love to bring you the discounted lots that we have under contract. Also, we can obtain your areas of interest. Excited to potentially work together. Best regards. How do you like that? And by the way, just some back knowledge about Brian. He's definitely done almost 100K in deals in the last year. So he's killing it. JR, do you have any feedback?
Oh, is my audio on? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's simple, straight to the point, and it was authentic. I like that one. I would say something like, if you don't have a specific price point, or please let me know, the exact criteria that you're looking for that I could bring value to you. So just like, just add a little something like that. But otherwise, that was a good one.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Perfect. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Anybody else want to share their buyer's criteria or buyer's script template that they send out to builders? Okay, I have another one. We'll do one more. Okay. Good morning, Richard. It's great connecting with you. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ty, and my company S&S Acquisition specializes in sourcing and supplying off-market infill lots to investors and home builders. Are you currently looking to purchase? I would love to work together and provide value by finding lots that fit your criteria. Love that. What do you think, JR, about that one?
Yeah, I think that one is good as well. It's like, and also, like what Deborah said, you don't want to pester people, but in our industry, follow up is respected, right? If someone ghosts you for a week, I'm writing them back probably a week. And if they don't hit me up again, I'm gonna hit them back in 2 weeks. And then I'm gonna probably hit them back, in a month, one final email, just being like, hey, this is the last time I reach out, but is there any other, trying different stuff. So just being persistent without being a pest. But no, this is a good email.
Good. Okay, I want to get to the rest of them, but we definitely are going to run out of time. But I just want you guys to kind of hear some of the feedback that JR is throwing out there for you guys, right? Always showing that you're going to provide value. Don't, pester them and send out a bajillion follow-ups, but also, respond, follow up efficiently and not too much to bombard them. But yeah, for the most part, always show that you're going to be providing value. And if they don't respond 2 or 3 times, y'all, that's when you do your research. Literally, that's it. Um, let's keep going. So, making contact with builders, some do's, be creative and understand, uh, be creative and understanding. I don't know what I put there. Apply people first skills. Okay, and apply people skills. That's going to be the biggest one, right? We want to make sure that we're showing our people skills and interacting with them appropriately. And then don'ts is try not to be socially awkward. I know some people are kind of like socially awkward. I know I was kind of a little bit too, being from teacher with a bunch of kids to now being with a bunch of adults. It was just very awkward for me. I don't know. So transitioning was hard. But try not to be socially awkward and just, keeping the conversation flowing, when on the phone with them or just engaging in conversation. And then not doing this, but exploring the other options, right? A lot of you guys are just finding home builders on Google. Do not just do that. You have to find other ways to finding builders. My most lucrative way for me to find builders, and I kid you not, the best ways and the highest paying builders that pay the most are found from real estate agents. I literally reach out to realtors who list these homes on the back end and I'm like, hey, you just sold this home to a home builder. Who are they? And can we connect? And I'll pay you a flat fee if we close land deals together. And they're like, absolutely. I had an agent that was literally going to Italy, going to Mexico, like every other month because I was paying for his vacations because I would give him money for his referral fees because I closed deals with this builder. And that was something that I did that for almost a year for him, almost 2 years, I want to say. And that was an incentive. So, and I found this builder and I'm making over 7 figures with him. He's my hedge fund guy, the one I always call and talk on the phone with. But I found him from a realtor. I found all my hedge fund buyers, my highest paying builders from connecting with realtors. So when I say that's going to be your biggest network to finding the best builders, thank me later. And then let's talk about this before we wrap up this call. If you guys can in the chat, what changes do you guys plan on making after this session? Let's see what you guys have learned. Carla asked, how much time should we allow between follow-ups? It's up to you. You can do 3 days, 4 days, whatever your heart desires. There's no right or wrong answer. So what changes do you guys plan on doing differently after the session? If you want to use a chat or raise your hand, you can. Someone said verbiage, changing the verbiage. Nice. Definitely not going to be afraid to follow up. Good. Following up persistently, connecting with more realtors. Good job, Ryan. Do more extensive research on specific deals and markets before reaching out to builders. Good job, Joaquin. That is going to be the biggest thing. Yes, Nina Michelle, more research. Consistency. When you're calling realtors, are you just filtering out new builds that sold by agents? Yes. Yep. Good job, Jessica. Okay, I love this. This was great. So what is in store for next week? Part 2 is deepening your relationships and expanding your network. This is where we're going to really dive in more. This one was very superficial, being that we were talking more of the foundation of business. We got JR on, and then next week, we're going to talk about more deeper things as far as like the actionable items. Okay. JR, do you have any final words for us?
Yes. Thank you for having me on, Derby. And I love talking about this stuff. So, I love doing it anytime that you need me to. I know that I was talking a lot about, where I'm at right now with KB, which is, we're looking for like 10 to 20 plus acres, and it's a whole nother ball game. But the skills that you guys are acquiring, it works for any size land. So one of the biggest hurdles in my like first or second year that I realized to get over was that negotiating with the seller on a 5,000 square foot lot is the same negotiation that you have with somebody who has 100 acres. It's the same conversation. It's the same paperwork. Like, so don't be afraid to at larger land. I meet brokers all the time who they just pass up on stuff because they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with that land, or that's too big or whatnot. So that's one of the things I hope that you guys can learn from me is like, no matter how big you think the deal is, it's the same conversations, it's the same negotiations. And then other thing is like when you're bringing these deals, every great deal has a story. That's another thing that I learned, right? You want to create a story around your deal. Like if it's a great deal and the numbers pencil and everything work, check, 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 that's great. But if not, there's some things missing. You want to create a story about, maybe that area that like the new construction that's coming by. There's competitors there. There's a mall coming. There's a new highway coming. There's, Publix, Walmart, whatever. Create a story around your deal to make your deal look a little bit better. Cause that's what we do when we go to our higher ups. They're like, why should we buy this? And why should we buy this right now? Right. And I explained to my VP and my division president that, hey, look, this is going to be a good piece to buy. And then the last thing that I want to let y'all know is like working with bigger builders, like the pros and cons of bigger and private smaller builders is the timeline to close, right? So KB, and I'll read y'all my criteria here before I go. Working with KBs, we typically take like a year to close. Our contract is 365 days, and we have like 4 30-day extension options on top of that. Now, and that's because we need to get the property fully entitled. We need to get permits. If we need to do a land use amendment, if we need a zoning change, because we're working with the county or the city, whatever the jurisdiction is, and they work slow. They only meet once a month, once a quarter, whatever. So, we're applying to have a PUD to build a neighborhood, working with the engineers and getting everything just ready to go. So, working with a builder like me, it's going to take you a long time to get paid. However, if you find a deal for $500,000 and KB is willing to buy it for $1 million, is that worth waiting 365 days? You're damn right.
Yeah, damn right.
You're damn right. So that was just what I was getting at. Is you're doing these deals with these single infill lots. And if sometimes you're going to come across a buyer who has a house or who owns a big piece of land, or you get some lead somehow comes into your CRM that's like that. Why not go for it? Why not try it? You have closings every month that are going to pay your bills and your lifestyle, and then you can have a cherry on top with the Lennar or Dream Finders or a DR or KB. That close. It might take a year, or whatever, but hey, you got other close. So I wouldn't say focus everything on these type of builders, because then you guys are like, crap, I need more consistent cash flow closings. But don't shy away from them. That's just what I wanted to say. And then but criteria for KB, this will give all you guys, Derby, if it's okay, this will give all you guys you can come in my market, look for deals, send me whatever you got, and I'll tell you what we're looking for specifically. So my division is the Jacksonville division. We do Northeast Florida. There's a KB in Orlando. There's a KB in Daytona, or South Florida. There's a KB, we're nationwide, but I do Northeast Florida. So those counties are Duval County, Clay County, St. Johns County, Flagler County, and Volusia County. So those are like Palm Coast, St. Augustine, Daytona, Ormond Beach, Flagler Beach, and Jacksonville. So those are our markets that we're in. And then we're looking for typically like 10 acres or more. We've done deals with like about 8 acres. So 8 acres or larger. And then, you don't need to ask like what sizes, how big do you go up, or how much do you pay? And that's actually a good point. Those questions do I'm like, do they really understand what's going on? Because KB is $1 billion company. You can go on the NASDAQ and see our stock. Like, we're nationwide. Like, we have $1 billion. There's nothing that you're going to bring me that we can't buy, right? So like 8 acres or larger, nothing's too big. No price is too much. But, and then this is what I would send to a wholesaler. I would say, please, consider wetlands, because we need uplands, like we talked about, not just the gross acreage. And then we buy raw land, right? We do the entire development. So we're a developer too. And But we also buy like finished lots. So if someone has something that's shovel ready and completely entitled and engineered and ready to go, we'll be willing to pay more. So if you guys might come across that, if you work with a developer who might be out of state or whatever, and they working on some land, then you can connect them with somebody like us. So look at the zoning, look at the land use. We prefer residential or multifamily, and some builders might say we'll only buy it if it's residential, right? But we're willing to do a zoning change, but it's up to the county if they will approve it. But so um, we will we do we build to sell, we don't build to rent. We have a single family detached homes, townhomes. We don't do commercial. We don't do apartments. Water and sewer and electric, like the utilities, you want to make sure that they're either in place or see where they are, see how far you have to drag them. It's about $1 million a mile to drag utilities, right? So you have to add that into your cost. We can't build a neighborhood if it has like well and septic, right? We need water and sewer. But those, we can add that, configure it into the price. And then every deal we look at, dozens of variables. We don't really like I said, give out prices because of that, but we can fund any size. And then we have a 90-day inspection period. Um, and then we have a 365-day contract with possible extension. So that's what it looks like to work with us. And a nationwide builder, just to give you guys an idea of what like I would send back to a wholesaler. That's basically my email right there. It's like, and then I say, send me anything you got and I'll give you feedback from there. So that's kind of my response to when I get these criteria emails. That's for KB in my market.
Good, good. And someone asked about price. We ain't doing the price, right? It's per deal. It's analyzed per deal. So make sure you pay attention to that. It's not about the price. It's about analyzing the deal, making sure it has all what's needed. And then the price, they'll figure that out. You guys can negotiate the price later on. That's nothing,
Okay.
right? All right, cool. Thank you so much, JR, for coming on. You're amazing. I heard you hung out with I think Jared had stayed over there a little bit because of the hurricane or whatever.
Yeah, he was my evacuate person.
That's
So
awesome. Well, it's always a pleasure to have you. I'm sure we're going to see you in the future, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Thank you, JR, again. Bye, Jameson.